Hello, YouTube. This is Barbara from California. This podcast is for new eBayers, so you can listen and learn and list at the same time. I know you're always looking for ideas of what to buy to resell on eBay. Well, some of my best items that I've ever found are at estate sales, and you can find the estate sales in your area by going to estatesales.org and put in your zip code. Usually they'll tell you what city the estate sale is in, but maybe the day before is when they post the actual address. But this site will have photographs of the items that they have for sale, and you can take your time looking at these and researching and writing a list of the things you want to pick up. These items are always there too. It's like a rule for the estate sale people. If they post that picture, it is in that house. They can't post things that are, they're not there. They're great, but they're not there. It's a rule they have. It has to be there. Now, maybe the person who's first in line will grab that thing. Yes. So the earlier, the better if you really want to get the best things. But lots of times people don't know what things are. And the better and better you get at learning what things are valuable, then you can just walk in there and find those things that you saw in the photographs on the site and just pick them up. Because lots of times people don't know what things are worth. So this one estate sale I went to was in my own town, and you could tell that the person was a very wealthy person by all these items. Now, I like to sell shoes. Not everyone likes shoes. Not everyone there at the estate sales are resellers. It sort of depends on your timing, but I found a bunch of shoes and I knew what they were right away because they were dark red boxes, and it was Salvatore Ferragamo. The Ferragamo shoes are really fantastic shoes to buy. They just hold their value no matter how old they are. Sometimes the older the better. Salvatore Ferragamo, it's a very high-end designer from Italy. Back in the 1920s, he was in Hollywood and he was known as the shoemaker to the stars. And everyone was scrambling to get their Ferragamos, and you were pretty special if you had Ferragamos. Well, he went back to Italy and passed, back in the 1960s. But the company still exists, and it's very high-end, prestigious, luxury brand. Mostly shoes and leather goods, ties, and I found a bunch of Ferragamo shoes. So I rushed over to him. And when you are buying shoes, make sure they're not all dinged up and scraped and scratched and torn and, worn down. Shoes can have wear, but the less wear, the better. So I'm opening all these boxes, and yes, good, gorgeous women's Ferragamo shoes. Gorgeous. Most of them in excellent condition. So I'm piling up these shoes, and I wanted to put them in my car. So I go down, and there was a line at the door. I must have been there kind of early because there was a line after me by the time I got in. So we decided on a price for these 9 pairs of shoes, and it was $80. Well, I knew that was good. That was about $9 a pair, and these things go for a lot. You can sell them for a couple $100 per pair. So I paid her $80 in cash and walked out past all these people. I remember it was funny because I felt like I was in a Dr. Seuss story with this big stack of tottering boxes. Actually, it was 2 stacks, but I felt like it was kind of like teetering and tottering, walking by with these 9 pairs of Ferragamos, and I think I could see their eyes going, oh, that's what I do when I'm standing out there. When people walk out, I go, oh, there goes that thing. So I think I saw some eyeballs go like, man, there go the Ferragamos. So I put them in my car. So I came back and was able to shop some more, and in this same bedroom upstairs where all these Ferragamo shoes were some men's Ferragamo ties. And oh, they were gorgeous ties. They were gorgeous. Of course, Ferragamo is a very high-end brand of men's ties, and they sell very well. So I picked a few of them, but one was especially special. Now, you need to have keywords. Keywords are very important when you sell your items. Ferragamo right off the bat is a great keyword. Some men maybe only wear Ferragamo ties, and that's what they'll search for. But this tie was like a red background. But what was going on this tie was pretty amazing. It had a lot of stuff on it. It had Vikings and a Viking ship. It had narwhal fishes. Now, narwhals are these weird fishes that kind of have a long point coming out of their head. it had walruses and polar bears and geese flying in the air. So all of this stuff was going on with this tie. It was a beautiful print. And if you look close, you see the Vikings and the ship and the narwhal and all these things were great keywords, because all you really need is one person who is a fan of polar bears, who is a fan of Vikings. All those things are just great keywords to load up in your title and description. So I purchased this tie. The amount I paid for it was $3, and I sold it to someone in Belgium. Now, this was a very extraordinary tie. So someone in Belgium bought it for $68, and I made $54 on the tie. So that was a great profit. Every time you see Salvatore Ferragamo ties, pick them up, especially if they have any kind of interesting design. Even the very plain ones with dots or lines or something are still good, because it's got that label on the back that says the brand, and it says made in Italy, and just the brand will sell itself. But if you have a real extraordinary design like this one, it's bound to sell. And $68 is a lot. So as far as the shoes, I sold those shoes right around maybe $70 on the average each. So I mentioned that they could sell for a couple $100, and yes, they can, but the market will tell you what your items will sell for. And if you wait around, you kind of tweak the price a little bit, and they will pay what it's worth. So there was one pair of shoes out of this lot of 9 that was very special, and it was a real sleek pump that was black with a pointy toe. So it was all black with a white heel and a white thin stripe of leather across the toe, and a white thin stripe of leather going up the back. So these were really unique looking and very streamlined, really cool looking pumps. And of course I paid $9 for the pair and sold them to someone in New Jersey for $118, making me a profit of $87. So if you think about it, this $87 profit I made paid for all of those Ferragamo shoes that I bought. I paid $80 for the 9 pairs, and just by selling one, I made all my money back. So Ferragamo shoes are a sure thing. Buy them if they are in good shape. They all sell varying prices, but usually on the higher end. And some, if you hit it right, some can go for hundreds of dollars. Used shoes for hundreds of dollars. It's just a really great brand. Well, California is known for its gold nuggets. And at the end of every podcast, I like to give you a California gold nugget of knowledge, a pro tip that should help you with your eBay selling. The gold nugget today has to do with ties, and that is photographing ties. You might not know how to do this. Well, the best way to figure out how to photograph something is to look at the sold items on eBay and look at the highest price of the sold item of what you are selling. So I would look at ties, highest price, sold, and guess what? The way those ties are displayed in those photographs is the way that I am going to photograph my tie. It just tells you right there how to do it. So your first premiere picture should pretty much look like those really high priced ties that sold for a lot of money right on eBay. So photograph it like that. And then I get you never have to lay out the whole tie as a long string. Never do that. It doesn't make sense. It's going to be tiny in your picture. People know what a tie looks like, stretched out. So I like to get the backs, both ends, the backs together close up, flip them over and get the fronts together close up. Each end on the front, each end on the back together. So, and a couple other shots of the design, or just a few shots. It doesn't really take that much to photograph ties. And when you package up your ties, never fold them. It would just be terrible to have one of your buyers open their tie and then there's a crease in it. That what I do is I put it on a piece of tissue and just start rolling kind of loosely. Just roll it, roll it, roll it. So it's a nice roll of tie in between tissue. And then when you put it in your package, it can be sort of laid down as an oval. So in other words, there's never going to be a crease in it. I do put them in, padded or poly bags. I don't box them up, but I do. Maybe I'll put an extra little layer of small bubble wrap around it just to give it a rounded, soft shape when they get it. So just basically don't fold it up and make creases in it and then wrap it like that, because chances are those creases are going to show, and ties are delicate. You don't really want to iron out your tie or kind of have that ironing your tie and maybe ruining your tie. So roll it up and keep it rounded rather than a flat folded tie. Well, that is it for this time. Thanks so much for listening. As always, I enjoy sharing my eBay knowledge with you. Please leave your comments below, or if you want to email me, you can do that, barbara@gmail.com. I hope you all have a joyful, full of smiles, happy, sunshiny day. This is Barbara from California, signing out. Bye.